Nara Aden was the complete package. She was the kind of woman every mother dreamed of having as a daughter, every boss wished for as a staff member, and every single man secretly admired from afar. She was smart, always neat, and wore a beautiful smile that made the world feel a little lighter. Nara worked at a fast-growing tech company in the city of Tamora and had just been promoted to team lead. Her salary was sweet, her apartment spotless, and her shoe collection could open a small boutique. Life was going well, except for one thing. Nara believed all her achievements would mean nothing if she didn't have someone special to share them with. And not just anyone, her kind of man. Nara loved tall, dark-skinned, muscular men. If he's not dark like burnt plantain and built like a power bike, I don't want, please. She would often say to her best friend Jola, "How can a man hug me and my problems will still remain? Impossible." She would laugh. So when she met Kobe, it was like heaven had answered her prayers directly. Kobe had the kind of body that made people turn twice when he passed. He was tall, smooth, and his skin was a deep, rich brown. His six-pack abs looked like they had been carefully carved by an artist. His beard was thick and full enough to start a goat farm. He wore fitted shirts that hugged his muscles perfectly and spoke with a deep voice that made you want to lean closer every time he spoke. They met at a wedding. Kobe was standing casually by the drink stand, looking like he had just stepped out of a fashion magazine. He wore a black native senator outfit that made his broad shoulders and chest practically announce themselves. Meanwhile, Nara was battling with her high heels, one of which had just decided to betray her while she was dancing. Kobe walked over, flashing a grin. "It looks like your shoe wants to embarrass you tonight." Nara smiled sheepishly, trying to balance herself. "Honestly, I think it's the work of my enemies," she joked. Kobe let out a deep, rich laugh, the kind that made you want to keep talking, just to hear it again. "Come, let's sit before you fall and make headlines," he said kindly. They sat together. And that night, they talked like old friends reunited after years. Kobe told her he was into real estate and had just moved into Tamora. He smelled of expensive cologne and spoke slowly, like every word carried importance. By the end of the wedding, he had her number and the journey began. The next morning, Kobe was the first to call. "Good morning, Miss Beautiful. Did you dream about me?" Nara giggled like a teenager. "I plead the fifth. I will neither confirm nor deny." He laughed and said, "Let me take you out for lunch. You owe me one for rescuing you from your shoe crisis." Nara blushed and agreed. What reason did she have to refuse? This man was exactly what she had asked God for, nothing missing, nothing lost. From one lunch date, it turned into weekend dates. From weekend dates, it became long night calls. 3 weeks later, Nara had deleted her dating apps, convinced that her search was finally over. One quiet night while they sat on Kobe's balcony after dinner, Nara leaned into him and said, "Babe, can I ask you something?" "Anything," Kobe replied warmly. "If I ever gain weight, like seriously get fat, would you still love me?" Kobe smiled. "As long as your heart doesn't gain weight, you are perfect." Nara burst into laughter. "This your sweet mouth will put me in trouble one day." They laughed, kissed, and hugged under the stars. Nara was falling deep into love without a parachute. She was so lost that she didn't even wait for a rain before she started acting like a wife. It began with small things: washing his clothes, stocking his kitchen with her own money, cleaning his fridge. One Saturday morning, she decided to surprise him properly. She woke up early, wore her work jeans and sneakers, and showed up at Kobe's gate with a bright smile. Kobe was surprised to see her. He hadn't been expecting visitors. Nara lifted a bag of cleaning supplies and said cheerfully, "Baby, I brought weapons of transformation." Kobe raised an eyebrow. "Cleaning supplies?" "Yes, today I am transforming this house. It's my future home after all." Kobe scratched his beard and smiled. "All right, Just don't throw away my PS5 controller again like last time. Nara grinned mischievously and got to work. She washed his clothes, cleaned his bathroom, arranged his shoes like a boutique display, even climbed a chair to dust his ceiling fan. By the time she was done, the house smelled fresh and heavenly. She even cooked a special meal, fufu and soup, with extra fried plantain, because she knew Kobe loved plantains. When Kobe came out of his room, he paused in shock. The whole house was sparkling clean. Wow, everything is shining, he said, impressed. Thanks, Nara. Nara smiled, but inside, she felt a small pang. Just thanks? No hug? No spinning her around dramatically in joy? No, baby, you are amazing. I can't wait to marry you. She sat beside him, hiding her disappointment. Should I serve you? She asked sweetly. He nodded casually. Yes, please. Later that evening, some of Kobe's friends came over to watch football, and like the perfect woman she believed herself to be, Nara served them drinks and food, smiling all the while even as a small, uncertain ache started growing quietly in her chest. Nara served drinks and small chops to Kobe and his friends, laughing politely at their dry jokes, clearly trying to make her presence felt. One of the friends looked at her admiringly and said, Nara, you're wife material. Uncountable yards, Nara blushed shyly. I'm just doing my best, she replied modestly. But when she left to fetch more ice from the kitchen, she heard what was never meant for her ears. The friends leaned closer and whispered among themselves. This girl, she tries but she just day waste her time. You and I know Kobe is not ready for all this. The words slammed into Nara's heart like cold water. She froze, standing there behind the kitchen wall, her hands gripping the tray tightly. Maybe I heard wrong, she told herself. Maybe they weren't talking about me. She shook it off and forced a smile back onto her face. Instead of slowing down, Nara decided to try even harder. She believed maybe she wasn't doing enough. Maybe love just needed more effort. So every Saturday, she went to Kobe's house for her so-called environmental duties. She washed, she cleaned, she cooked. One day, she even stretched her efforts further by climbing the water tank outside to wash it. Yes, you heard that right, the giant GP tank. When her friend Jola heard about it, she nearly fainted. Wait, Nara, you climbed the water tank? As in you climbed that tall thing and scrubbed it? Nara only shrugged. I just wanted to help. Kobe's been stressed lately. Jola shook her head. What kind of stress is that? I just hope he's worth it, she muttered under her breath. As time went by, things began to shift, and not in Nara's favor. Kobe stopped calling. No more good morning texts. No more, how was your day? No more quick calls during lunch breaks. Even when he was online, he ignored her messages. Nara still overlooked it. She told herself, maybe he's just going through something. She continued putting in the effort, but when she would message him, "Good morning, love," he would reply with a dry, "Hey." When she called, his voice was distant, distracted, cold. The warmth she had fallen for was fading fast. One evening, Nara finally gathered the courage to confront him. "Kobe, what's wrong?" she asked gently. "You hardly call. When I reach out, you don't even seem happy to hear from me." Kobe frowned. "I've been busy," he said flatly, too busy to even reply to a text. She pressed. He threw his hands up. "Can he just have peace? You're too clingy, Nara." Nara stared at him, stunned. "But I'm your girlfriend." Kobe's next words shattered her heart. "Exactly. You're just my girlfriend. You don't own me, Nara. Stop acting like you're my mother." The words stabbed her chest like knives. She left his house in tears that night, crying silently into her pillow until dawn. The next morning at work, Nara looked like a ghost of herself. Her face was pale, her eyes swollen from crying, her soul heavy. When Jola entered her office and saw her, she froze. "Nara, Who beat you in your sleep? Nara sniffed. It's Kobe. She whispered. What happened again? Jola asked, concerned. He said I'm disturbing him, that I'm too clingy. Jola hissed loudly. So now love is stubborn, Abi? Nara, this man has checked out emotionally. You're just inside arranging pillows. In an empty house, Nara wiped her tears quickly. No, Jola, he's just going through something. I have to be patient. Jola stood up, folding her arms. My dear, when a man starts acting like your presence is a burden, it means he has found peace somewhere else. Don't let an ordinary fine boy finish your destiny. You are the king's daughter. Start acting like it. But Nara didn't listen. That weekend, she returned to Kobe's house again. She cleaned the entire compound. She even scrubbed the fence, believing somehow, somewhere, love could fix everything. But nothing changed, if anything. It got worse. Another week later, Jola stormed into her office again and found Nara sitting like a squeezed paper towel. Nara, your face is looking like Monday morning after a long public holiday. What happened again? Nara sighed. We had another fight. What now? Did he catch you breathing too loud this time? Jola asked sarcastically. Nara managed a weak laugh, then wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. It wasn't my fault. I just showed up at his house over the weekend without telling him. And he started shouting. Jola rolled her eyes. See, babe. At this point, let me just keep my weekend free. I'll be available to help you pack your emotional bags and exit that relationship. At this point, Nara wasn't just tired. She wasn't just physically exhausted. She was tired in her soul. Tired of calling first. Tired of begging for love. Tired of being the only one fighting for something that was already lost. One night, she lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Her phone was silent. Kobe hadn't called in days. She opened Instagram, just to distract herself, and there it was. A new post. Kobe had just uploaded a fresh picture. And from the caption and comments, it was clear. He was living his best life without her. Nara sat up in disbelief, her heart squeezing painfully. The new photo on Kobe's Instagram showed him smiling at a restaurant, but it wasn't the smile that broke her. It was the girl standing suspiciously close beside him, her stomach twisted. She quickly clicked on the girl's profile. It was private, but the profile picture told her everything she needed to know. It was the same photo with Kobe. And the girl's bio? His piece. Nara froze. That was her line. That was what she had always called herself, Kobe's piece. Tears blurred her eyes. She quickly dialed Kobe's number. It rang and rang, but he didn't answer. She tried again. This time, switched off. Nara sat trembling on her bed, wanting to scream, cry, and smash her fan all at once. But instead, she consoled herself. Maybe it's just a caption. Maybe it's nothing. Still, she wept herself to sleep that night. The next day at work, during lunch break, Jola barged into her office, carrying 2 plates of jollof rice. You don't even call me to rant anymore. I hope you're not still forming Mrs. Kobe in your head, Nara sighed tiredly. At this point, Jola, I don't even know where I stand anymore. Jola raised her hand dramatically like a preacher at a revival. My sister, that man has ghosted you. Blocked you emotionally. Left you sitting inside the relationship alone. You're now dating yourself. Nara gave a weak smile. Just then, her phone vibrated. She found a message from a number saved as Tari. Hey, just checking in. Hope your day is going smoothly. You crossed my mind. Nara rolled her eyes. Oh, this man again. She muttered. Jola leaned over excitedly. Which man? That guy I met at the tech event 2 months ago, Nara said. I told you about him. The one who said he wanted to marry me on the first day. Jola snapped her fingers. Oh, that one. The one you said isn't fine enough? Nara nodded. Exactly. He's fair-skinned, no six-packs, no heavy beard. He's just there. Jola gave her a hard look. So are you marrying six-packs or marrying peace? Nara shrugged. He's just not my type. Jola grabbed her phone and read Tari's messages. Wait, oh, this man is polite. He's consistent. He's present. What exactly are you looking for again? Nara pouted. He's not romantic. The first thing he ever told me was, I want to marry you. No, can I know you better? No sweet talk. Just straight to marriage. Jola burst into laughter. Women, what exactly do we want? Is this not what you've been praying for? You've been begging Kobe to marry you for how long now? Nara frowned again. Yes, I want marriage, but not like this. Not with him. Jola shook her head. I pity you. You are lucky that God gave you an exit plan, and you're dragging your feet like a woman in labor. Better open your eyes before this good man moves on. That night, Nara thought deeply. Maybe Jola had a point. She picked up her phone and finally replied to Tari's message. Hi, thanks for checking in. My day was okay. How was yours? He replied almost immediately. Much better now that you replied. Nara smiled just a little. A small, stubborn smile. The first genuine smile in a long time. They started talking daily. At first, the conversations were casual, about work, about food, about family, about silly childhood memories. Tari was gentle. He wasn't trying too hard. He wasn't playing games. He was simply there, patient, steady, real. One evening, while on a late-night phone call, Nara asked quietly, Tari, I've always wanted to ask ... Why do you want to marry me? There was a short pause. Then Tari said honestly, I would be lying if I said I love you already. Love needs time, and we haven't known each other long enough for that. Nara was surprised at his honesty. But, he continued, I know peace when I feel it. And you give me peace. You have a pure heart. You are kind. You are calm. And my heart recognizes what it sees. Those words touched something deep inside Nara, a small place inside her that had been battered and doubted ... began to heal, just a little. She didn't know what to say. So she simply whispered, Okay, thank you. Tari laughed softly. You don't have to say anything now. Just don't run away from me. Nara smiled quietly, but deep inside she was still scared. Still hesitant. Still wounded. She dodged his calls sometimes. She lied that she was busy. She even told him once that she had a boyfriend, just to scare him away. But Tari only smiled and replied, If your boyfriend was really doing his job, you wouldn't be talking to me this much. Your heart is free, Nara, and you know it. And deep down, she knew he was right. Slowly ... very slowly. Nara began to let go. She began to trust again. By the time 2 months passed, Nara and Tari were not just talking daily, they had become best friends. He sent her lunch at work. He helped her whenever she needed something heavy lifted or fixed. He even surprised her with a thoughtful book. Love Shouldn't Hurt. And as Nara flipped through the pages of that book one evening, tears filled her eyes. Not because she was sad, but because for the first time in a long time, she felt seen. She felt valued. She felt loved. Real love, the peaceful kind, the lasting kind. One afternoon, Tari surprised Nara by showing up with her favorite meal. Hot jollof rice, spicy grilled chicken, and fried plantains. Nara licked her fingers happily. This is delicious. Tari smiled proudly. I watched 5 YouTube videos just to get it right. Almost burned down my kitchen too, he said, laughing. Nara chuckled warmly. You're not as boring as I thought. You were. Tari raised an eyebrow dramatically. Wow, thank you. I think. They both laughed until their stomachs hurt. 6 months later, Tari officially proposed. Even though he had always made his intentions clear, he still planned a small, romantic surprise. He rented out a private lounge, filled it with candles and soft music. And when Nara walked in, she found him down on one knee, holding a simple, elegant ring. She looked at him, really looked, and for the first time in her life, she forgot about six-packs, beards, and superficial dreams. She looked straight into his heart. Without hesitation, she screamed, "Yes," and slipped the ring onto her finger, her smile wide and pure. That night, Nara couldn't stop smiling. She was floating, like a teenage girl in love. She couldn't believe how she had moved from a desperate, tearful girlfriend to a well-loved, well-respected fiancé in just a few months. She thought of Kobe and scoffed. She hadn't officially broken things off with him because, well, there had been nothing left to break. He had ghosted her for months without a word. She just hoped he stayed lost forever. But life, being life, had other plans. One Thursday evening, after Nora and Jola had just finished binge-watching a Netflix series at her place, her phone buzzed. A message from Kobe. "I've been thinking about you. Can we talk?" Nora's heart skipped slightly. She didn't reply. 2 minutes later, her phone rang. She hesitated, then picked up. "Hello," she said cautiously. Kobe's voice was softer than she remembered. "Nara. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. I was confused, but I miss you. I really do." Nara leaned back into the couch, her heart steady. "I thought you were done with me, Kobe." "No," he protested. "I was just going through something. But it's all over now. Please, let's meet and talk." Nara was silent. And just then, Jola's voice shouted from the background, "Nara, when are you and Tari getting married, Seth? You can't wear that ring forever." "Oh." Kobe went silent on the line. Who was that?" he asked, his tone dark. Nara answered casually, "My friend." Kobe scoffed bitterly. "Wow, I heard what she said. So you've replaced me already?" Nara almost laughed. "Are you serious right now? You ghosted me for months, Kobe. You blocked me. Ignored me. What exactly did you expect?" Kobe ignored her questions and raised his voice. "So you've been cheating on me, Nara?" Nara snapped. "Cheating on a ghost?" "Kobe, please stop being delusional." There was a long silence. Then he asked quietly, "Are you really engaged?" Before Nara could even reply, Jola snatched the phone from her. "Yes, she's engaged," Jola said loudly. "And guess what? Her man is finer than you, smarter than you, and loves her 100 times better than you ever could. Now crawl back to whatever hole you came out from." Kobe was shouting on the other side. "Is this some kind of joke? Just how many months? Who is this man?" Nara calmly took the phone back. Her voice was calm and deadly. "Listen, Kobe, you didn't want me when you had me. But now that someone else values me, you suddenly remember I exist?" She laughed softly. "Yes, I'm engaged to a real man, and guess what? I'll be sending you the wedding invitation. Maybe you can come drive our wedding car. It would be a nice way to finally be useful." With that, she hung up the call. Nara turned to Jola, and they both burst into uncontrollable laughter. Jola shook her head. "Imagine the audacity." You sure your village people didn't send him?" He saw light and came to turn it off. After that drama, Nara blocked Kobe's number for good. She wasn't going to open a door she had already locked ... and thrown away the keys. The next morning, Nara sat with Tari at their favorite quiet cafe, freshly squeezed juice in hand. Tari listened patiently as she told him everything about the call with Kobe. Nara ended dramatically, and then he had the audacity to accuse me of cheating. Can you imagine? Tari chuckled softly and looked at her with calm eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Nara nodded firmly. "I'm okay. In fact, I feel even better now that I've given him a piece of my mind." Tari reached out, squeezed her hand gently across the table, and said the words that made her heart settle completely. "Good. Because you deserve peace, not confusion. And this time, Nara knew without a doubt. She had finally chosen right. Tari leaned forward, squeezing Nara's hand gently across the cafe table. "Good," he said calmly. "You owe yourself peace, Nara. Not everyone can give it. Some people only bring noise into your life, and it's better to block them out forever." Nara smiled warmly. "You are different, Tari. I don't know what I did to deserve you." Tari laughed. "Maybe you scrubbed a wicked ex-boyfriend's water tank one too many times, and heaven decided it was time to reward you." Nara burst into laughter, covering her face. "Please don't ever remind me of that tank again." Tari took her hands and looked at her seriously. "I want us to get married in 3 months, he said firmly. Nara blinked. 3 what? 3 months. He repeated. "We've wasted enough time already. We've built a friendship. We know each other well. I'm not here to play games." Nara stared at him, stunned by his certainty. "You're serious?" she whispered. Tari smiled softly. "I have never been more serious in my life." Nara looked into his steady, sincere eyes, and slowly nodded. "Okay," she said. "Let's do it." The wedding planning began immediately. Tari didn't waste a single day. One Saturday, he even showed up with a printed, color-coded wedding checklist, labeled like a military operation. Nara burst into laughter. "Tari, you're planning a wedding like you're preparing for war." He grinned cheekily. "Not war, love. But every good soldier must be ready." Tari was hands-on from day one. From choosing the wedding colors to testing cake flavors to meeting vendors, he was there every step of the way. Every vendor loved him. Every family member respected him. Even Nara's uncles were heard whispering at family meetings, "This one is different. This one has sense." Jola, of course, was the chief bridesmaid and the chief clapback officer. One afternoon, during dress fittings, Jola said proudly, "Nara, I'm proud of you." "You made the right choice." Nara smiled gently. "I almost missed it, Jola." Jola rolled her eyes dramatically. "Ah, if you had followed Kobe, you would have become a permanent prayer warrior, always attending all-night vigils looking for divine deliverance." They both laughed until their stomachs hurt. 3 weeks to the wedding, an unexpected email arrived. It was from Kobe. "Dear Nara, I know I hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need you to know I was wrong. I was immature, selfish, and blind to what I had. I'm not sending this to break your engagement. I just wanted to say sorry, even if it's late." Nara read it in silence. Then, without a second thought, she deleted it. Peace didn't need permission. And some doors needed to stay closed forever. The wedding day finally arrived, and everything, was perfect. Even the sky wore its brightest blue, as if heaven itself was blessing the day. As Nara walked down the aisle, she didn't see the crowd. She didn't hear the music. She saw only one thing, Tari's face. His smile, steady, warm, and sure. The kind of smile that said, "You are safe here." When the officiating pastor said, "You may now kiss your bride," Tari leaned in and whispered against her ear, "You are my peace, Nara." Nara smiled, tears shimmering in her eyes, and whispered back, "And you are my answer." That night, in their cozy honeymoon suite, Nara stepped out of the bathroom wearing the simple white robe. Tari looked up from the bed and smiled wide. "I still can't believe you're mine," he said softly. Nara walked over and sat beside him. "Promise me something," she said, touching his hand. "Anything," he replied instantly. "Promise me you'll never make me feel like I'm not enough." Tari pulled her close, placed her hand gently on his heart, and whispered, "You were already enough before I met you. I'm just here to protect the crown you've always worn." Nara rested her head on his chest, and for the first time in a long, long time, She slept like a child, no tears, no anxiety, no begging, no second-guessing. Just peace and joy, the kind she had prayed for and finally found.